What's up, guys? Welcome into another edition of Bogey Free. We are coming at you on an early Tuesday morning to get you some RBC Canadian Open action. Evan's alarm clock, I guess, didn't go off this morning, so it's just me and Jimmy. What's up, man? How we doing today?
Bro, I'm doing good slash tired slash it's one of those mornings, and it just happens to be a morning that we're recording, but I have a large cup of coffee.
Yep.
Traded
in the beer and the wine. I'm sipping my coffee as well.
And I feel like I'm ready to give my caffeinated takes.
There we go.
On the field this week. Pretty excited. I guess huge shout out to Molinari, first of all. I mean, man, that's just a guy has been on one incredible run of golf. Really, it's kind of difficult to quantify, like the little stretch he went on there. Well, I mean, it's not. There's people that do it. There's spreadsheets for that, but you know what I'm saying. So just congratulations to him to convert that hot form into a major, and the first major for Italy as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the big wigs took the private jet over to just outside Toronto here for the last run, probably the last run at Glen Abbey, because it's more than likely going to be bulldozed or turned. I don't know. It's I guess the future of the course is up in the air. So a last hurrah at Glen Abbey this week for the Canadian Open. So I'm excited. Field is way stronger than usual. At least it feels like it to me.
Yeah, definitely. There's at least compared to the couple weeks leading into the Open, we're looking at a much stronger field than what, like John Deere and all the other garbage that was happening. So real quick before we jump into that, quick shout out to C Menza. He took down the 75-man listener league, and a hat is on its way as soon as I get to the post office later today. So why don't we jump right in? Why don't you just give me like the quick synopsis? Obviously anybody can hop over to FanShare and see your course preview, but what are we looking at this week?
Awesome plug there, Matt. Fantastic plug. I appreciate that. Yeah, FanShare Sports.
Getting pretty good at this, just saying.
Definitely. Yeah, this amateur podcasting thing, it's working out. Definitely should check out my course preview video over there at FanShare Sports. But the abridged version, very gettable, very scoreable. Par 72, Nicklaus design, bent grass greens, situated just outside of Toronto. Parkland style course, plenty of water, tight fairways. A lot of approach shots come from the rough here. It is a mid-length par 4 course where you can definitely score on the mid-length par 4s. But the real meat of the course comes on the back 9 and the 3 par 5s, but specifically par 5 scoring. I'll be overweighting this week. It's vastly important compared to the other stats, in my opinion, specifically because eagles are had at this course comparative to most courses on tour. So I think it's really important to focus on the par 5 scoring aspect of this golf course and to try and nab some of those eagles, especially when you're down in your value ranges. I definitely want to use that as a tiebreaker for some decision making this week. But the short version is very gettable course, very scoreable. Guys can go on runs on the back 9 for sure.
Yeah, I think three of the 5s are on the back 9.
Correct.
So, which is a little it's not like totally rare, but it's a little quirky.
Well, I mean, 18's like super famous, right? With Tiger's approach out of the sand, second shot over the water onto the green for the win. I think the year was 2000. I think the club was a 6-iron. I think the yardage was 218 yards. Really impressive golf shot. When I think of Glen Abbey, I think of that golf shot, right? Like much like when I thought of Carnoustie, I think of Jean-Claude Van de Velde. Just like every course has their like iconic shot, and like in my opinion, that Tiger's is this for Glen Abbey. So if you don't know the shot, look it up. It's worth it.
I think Tiger likes his iconic shot more than Van de Velde likes his, though.
Well, I'm sure, but I just mean like in my mind, as like an analyst, right? That's sort of the way.
Yeah, definitely sticks
come
out.
to mind. Yeah.
All right. Why don't we hit these expensive guys up at the top? The 3 golfers in the I guess in the top 10 now, because Fleetwood's 10th. We have DJ, Koepka, and Fleetwood. So if we're spending up this high, where are we going here?
Hang on. Just my sheet. I think it's DJ and maybe Koepka and then nobody. Wait, what was the range? Did we go down to 95 or are we just at the 10-5 and up?
Just those top three guys.
Oh, I'm just going back to DJ. Yeah. I think I'm not. I doubt we get him at like discounted ownership, but I do think that it's possible that we get DJ at maybe lower ownership than we should, given his track record here and his ability on this course. And like, it's kind of like I don't know. He seems to play really well here, but is it kind of like a second home for him? I don't know how much time he spends in Canada with like the Gretzky's, but I have to imagine like it's he's fairly comfortable there. He's comfortable at this tournament. So if I'm paying up for anybody, it's probably him. Koepka is super interesting, but there's probably not like an advantage to playing him in terms of ownership or anything. You're getting the price discount, and he certainly has the upside. So like I wouldn't mind a few shares of Koepka either, but like the guy that I'm most interested in is DJ, and Fleetwood doesn't really do it for me, despite his like just that said, I'll be interested to see where Fleetwood's ownership trends towards this week. If it trends towards a lower number, I'll probably be a little more interested because he has an elite scoring upside, and it's not like he's a short hitter, right?
Right.
But Sergio's obviously the guy I'm dropping out of the range. There's only 3 guys up there. The pricing's a little weird this week. What are your thoughts on like up here and then overall pricing? Because like DJ is vastly more expensive as he should be, but then like you have this, I don't know. It feels like Finau and Sergio should be above the 10K mark to me, and Bubba, realistically.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's just a little weird to me the way it's kind of set out.
Yeah, if I typically don't go to the most expensive guy, but I don't really see how you get away from it this week. I think there is some decent value that you can actually fit him in this week. So I don't see why you wouldn't try to, especially like you said, even if there's a slight dip in ownership, because people like DFS players hold grudges, right? Like he's fresh off a miscut. So even if that drops his ownership 3-4%, it's still a little bit of a discount, right? So, and he's still the best golfer in the world. So, besides Justin Thomas, but so I'll definitely just pay up for him. I probably won't play. I mean, it's hard to not have any of the other 2 guys, but I probably won't because I don't really envision myself building that many lineups this week. So if I build like 5 lineups, I'm probably just going to have DJ and neither of the other 2. And like you said, I'm not playing Sergio either as we sort of dip down.
Yeah, like Sergio doesn't do it for me. No course history here. Like Fleetwood, like of the guys up here with no course history, Fleetwood is the most interesting to me. Like, I'm not going to fault anybody for playing any of these guys. I think DJ is like just prime for a bounce back. I think it's one of these spots, like, everyone's kind of a little down on him, and then he just comes and blows this field away at a course that he loves. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping for, since I'm going to. Because like DJ cost me a lot of money last week. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
I was on plenty of Molinari. I was on plenty of great plays that DJ ruined. All those great play lineups. But I think I'm going to go right back to it. I think so. Yeah.
My 2 worst decisions last week were playing Dustin Johnson and Justin Thomas. Like how fucking cold can you run that? Like those are your 2 worst decisions.
Yeah, really. It's hard to believe that playing number 1 and 2 in the world it's a really bad decision. But no, it's true. I
only had 9 other guys in my player pool, and they all made the cut. So
wow, did you really? Wow, you were very concentrated. You actually you sent me your exposures after lock, and they were. Shout out to you for being very committed to Finau.
It's 100% Finau week.
Now with reckless abandon potentially, but the commitment nonetheless, and it is impressive. So give me your Finau take.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna play all the Finau.
Okay,
it's just. He's gonna score on the par 5s. He obviously has like DK scoring upside. He has a little bit of distance, in case you didn't know. So
is that right?
A little bit, okay. a little above average. So Yeah, I'm just going to continue to play at least like 60 to 70% of him every week until further notice. That's just where I'm at.
It's probably not a bad strategy
It
overall.
hasn't really hurt me this year. Maybe in like one or two events, it's hurt me. So I'm going to just keep going back to that well until he really like either something happens and he misses a couple of cuts in a row, or I mean, I don't know, for 9,800, don't you think, like, I don't know, he could easily be over 10K, like you said before. So
Yeah.
9,800, I can definitely find a couple guys in the 7,000s that I like to pair him with. So
okay, well, before we go any further, give me your take on the like open hangover, right? Is it a thing? Is it not a thing? What is where do you stand on this? Have you done any quantitative research? Have you pulled any vizzes together, used your R scraping ability to generate any sort of information about, is there an open hangover at this tournament?
I did so much of that after the US Open, and I completely forgot to sort of look at that this week. But I think
shame.
I think it was Kenny. Kenny Kim tweeted something out about that, and I'm trying to pull it up. But basically, it was like it hasn't mattered.
That's my take on it. Is that it does that? Like I want to have zero decision making ability, or zero decision making like zero decision making ability. I want that to factor in like at 0% in my my decision making process this week.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, he said 15 day one after a Monday Open finish. 7 people in the top 10 played week before. 7 of the top 15 played in the Open. Last year, 10 of the top 18 played in the Open and came right here. So I'm not that concerned about it. Most of them actually, I think I saw most of them flew in, and some of them, like basically all of them beat the guys from the Barbasol there if they're playing this week. So I know it was obviously a shorter trip from the Barbasol, but just for fatigue purposes and just like getting to a hotel and going to sleep, I don't think it's really going to be an issue. A lot of them flew out on Sunday.
Yeah. No, I'm in full agreement. I think for the most part, it's a non-factor for me this week. Yeah. So anyway, I'm with you on Finau. I don't. There's no reason not to be involved with the play at all. He's played well here twice. One sort of questionable result, but the guy is playing on at another level and using his his elite distance to his advantage with almost throughout his bag. It seems like putting it to the yardages he wants, and then just. I don't know, man. His putting's been great too lately. It's just, and I don't know if statistically it bears out. Just when I watch him putt, he looks so much more confident over those mid-length, like 10-footers, and he's making them. So, hopefully this can be a week for Finau. I'm going to have exposure to him. Bubba is really interesting to me at 9,600, especially coming off of the miscut at the Open. Did he miss the cut at the Open? He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Again, this is early in the morning, folks. I don't have all my stats in front of me. I'm pretty sure he did. I think that this is an interesting course for him. He's had like a mediocre result last year, but then really the course sets up for like the bomb and gouge Bubba type of style. Like fairways are going to be missed anyway. I'm interested in Bubba at 9,600, especially if the bomber skill set, plays out like it has in years past. I think this is a track where Bubba can be comfortable enough to succeed, and he's been on, a hellacious run this year already. So I don't see a reason to get away from that, especially if he's going to be a bit underowned this week.
Yeah, and he had a runner up in 15 here. So Bubba plays well where Bubba plays well. So I might even play him this week a little bit. So that's how it's obvious.
Yeah.
But I don't think his ownership's going to get crazy. I like, with the exception of Sergio, and I don't think I'm going to be on Poulter or Kisner. I kind of like everybody in the 9,000 range. So this is going to be an interesting week for me because I typically like to concentrate up here with a guy or maybe two, and I kind of can see myself getting on Kuchar a little bit. I can see myself riding the hot hand with Neiman. I obviously am going to play Gary Woodland. So I don't know. Do you think there's like somebody maybe outside of Finau and Bubba, like in this lower 9K range that's like head and shoulders above everybody else? Or do you think it's a lot of the same?
Duh. Joaquin Niemann. Like $9,400. Yeah, sign me up. All the Joaquin Niemann. Gain strokes. I want guys to gain strokes off of the tee. I'll take all of the Joaquin Niemann, and I'll have no. Like Poulter's one great result last year doesn't sway me towards him. Woodland, I think, is going to be a little too chalky and probably not produce the upside that I want in a GPP. Walker, I think his game is quite a mess right now, unfortunately, even despite his great play early in the season. Kisner is maybe the most interesting guy at the bottom of the 9K range to take a few shares of for me. I'm probably going to be very heavy on Finau, Watson, Niemann, and then have some small shares of Kisner. And then that'll be it. I'm going to have no Walker. I'll probably have very little Woodland. Probably have no Poulter. Poulter could bite me, I guess.
If there is, I'm sorry, you cut out for a sec.
Oh, my bad.
No worries. What'd you say?
Just like Poulter could bite me. Like he could be the guy that does produce like a really strong upside result that I'll have probably no shares of.
Yeah, but I mean, if that happens, I think that's one of those decisions you can live with. Like if he ends up winning this week and I'm not on him, like, all right, golf. Like, like what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, no, true.
If there's anybody that I think might be a little bit that I'm a little hesitant for because of the Open, it's probably Kisner, because I think that had to have taken a lot out of him last week.
Yeah, I actually think that again, I'm not going to factor in my decision making at all. So my interest in Kisner is purely like one of those of a little bit of form, a course that he can play well at, and likely significantly lower ownership than anybody else in this range.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
With upside, like so, just strictly a GPP play. Could you be right? Absolutely. I don't want to factor it into my decision making at all, and I see him as a guy that flashed some form, has the ability to produce an upside result, and is probably going to be underowned.
Yeah.
So that's my those 3 points garner my interest for Kisner.
Oh, for sure. No, I get it from like a game theory perspective for sure.
JB Holmes is the question mark for me, actually. Like once we get out of the 9K range and into the.
What do you got?
Well, I just he bit me bad last time too. Like I thought he set up great for the Bombers course at what was it, Greenbrier, I think, and he just blew up. I don't understand. He's playing well leading into that, but this week he sets up kind of well again. Same thing, Baum and Gouch, just like a cheaper version of a Gary Woodland type of game or whatever. So Andy hits that high fade, which plays well at Nicklaus courses. But I don't know. It's tough for me to get back there with him after just literally losing thousands of dollars with him last time. So, or losing the potential to win thousands of dollars anyway. So it's, I don't know, there's going to be a lot of people on him, and I'm like, as I'm writing up my article, he's the question mark in this range. Do I want to write him up? And I think I'm going to skip writing him up and probably just favor the consistency of Hoffman here. And I'll just bite the ownership bullet because I doubt JB goes underowned.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Just looking through it, he meaning JB Holmes is like the lowest rate of finishing in the top 15 of DraftKings scoring this year in this range. So I'm probably not going to be on him, which means he'll probably top 5 or top 6 or something. I'd rather just get a made cut with Stricker, or just go down a little bit more and play one of the next 3 guys. I could see myself having a couple shares in GPPs of Hoffman, Hadley, and Snedeker. Although Snedeker's an RBC guy, right? Is that a sponsor thing?
He is an RBC guy, yeah, but he's played well here.
Yeah.
And he's got pattern math working for him.
Now we're awake.
If really. No, actually, Brandt between Brant and DJ, they cost me the most money last week. Brant, DJ, and Henley were the three that like really bit me. And other than that, I think almost all the rest of the guys I rostered throughout my player pool, I got through the cut. But those guys, I had heavy ownership stakes in, and they cost me a lot. So it's tough for me to go right back to Brant, but at the same time, I think it's one of those things that wow, big thunderstorm happening outside right now. Yeah. If I go dark, folks, you'll know why. But I'm on board with Brant again this week. I think I don't want to factor the Open in too much, and sort of the crazy conditions that were at play the first 2 days. So I'll have some shares of Brant again this week, if reluctantly so. I'll do it so that I don't go crazy when he puts a top 3 performance out there this week.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Is there any particular reason that Wesley Bryan is in this range?
I don't know, but based on the thunder you just heard when you mentioned his name, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Wesley Bryan's probably not a great play. It's just a hunch, folks. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Just looking at odds, he's 100 or 110 to 1 most places, and even Hadwin and Lingmerth are pretty high odds for this range at 80 to 1. I don't understand why he's that price, but
yeah, he doesn't rate out very well for me. I don't know. So interesting thing about lineup construction this week, I've run quite a few optimals, and every optimal I've run returns a starting stack of DJ and Neiman. So my blended model optimal starts that way. The simulator at Fantasy National starts that way. I am betting the points projection from FanShares Optimal will lay out that way. My individual model, everything I've run, lays out as the a stars and scrubs optimal, which is again sort of interesting because most of the time it does not do that. Mm-hmm. What I think is more interesting is that the stack of Neiman and DJ is what it returns every time. And Neiman has this ridiculously small sample size, across all these places and all these models that I've run. So I think it's interesting that continues to be returned as the top stack in the optimals. Just as a side note, as we work our way down, because when you do that, it skips most of this range, right? Mm-hmm. And that's sort of one of the reason I brought that up is because I think you get into this range and there's not a lot of inspiring plays outside of Charlie Hoffman.
Right.
Everybody else is just sort of okay, I could see it. Maybe kind of that's the drop off. Right after Hoffman is where I lose confidence in this field to return the result that I have a lot more confidence on the top of this board to do. Yeah. So when I get to down here, I'm just no thanks. I could see Lingmer doing well. He's played well at other Nicklaus courses despite his obvious length disadvantage. Never mind. Never mind. Scratch that. Don't play Lingmerth, Thunder, bad sign. I do actually kind of like Ollie Schneider Jans though, here at 7,900 in this range, and Benny on at 7,800, both guys that certainly have the length skill sets, the ball striking skill sets, and can get hot enough with a putter to make an impact here in terms of the leaderboard and scoring. Ollie, I don't know, man. Guy has a lot of hype around him, and he just can't seem to get it done. But he's put together 2 okay results with made cuts and such. Yeah. So I don't mind playing him. I'm not super thrilled about it, but yeah, I could see Ollie playing decent here. But again, like you said, most of these guys in this range, I'm just uninspired about. Could Jamie Lovemark get it going? Sure. Your boy Kevin Tway's been a bit off of the rails lately.
Yeah, I'll probably have a share of him if I build enough lineups. But Maybe
Bro,
not.
this thunder is intense right now.
This might just happen on every play from now on if that storm is that bad. So maybe we shouldn't go off of the thunder.
I don't know, man. Maybe you should just pick better golfers to talk about. I'm not sure.
How about Chris Kirk?
Yeah, you and everybody else, myself included, been on a great run of form. Has some decent course history here. He'll be the guy that garners significantly more ownership than his peers in this pricing range. Probably worth some GPP shares. I don't think I'm going to get overweight on Chris Kirk because Chris Kirk chalk can go like as bad as Keegan chalk can go. Yeah. So that's a bit concerning to me. Not Ryan Blum, Andrew Putnam is sort of interesting as a pivot. Guy that was playing really well up to the last couple of weeks. Jill Dahman is another one in that price range that'll probably go. He certainly won't be as chalky as he's been in the past.
All of the Dahman. I like him a lot this week.
There you go. Hit me with him. What do you got?
I don't really understand, like, looking through the rest of this range. I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess I obviously get the Kirk love because I just said him, but like for a fit with like a little bit more distance and basically all the same stats across the board, like that I'm looking at this week, like he gains greens in regulation on Fantasy National. He's 11th over the last 24 rounds. Kirk is 19th. Like they're like right next to each other and everything. Dahman's 5th in DraftKings points in that same time frame. He just he came in 15th at the Barbasol, but he lost 4 strokes putting. Like it was just awful. He gained almost 7.5 strokes on approach. Like I'm just gonna keep riding him for the last 4 events he's played. He's gained 4.8, 8.2. 2.8 and 7.3 strokes on approach. Like, yeah, he's just striking the ball too well to not play him.
Yeah, true story, bro. That's the attractive factor for Dahman. I guess my only like concern would be if he gets super chalky. This is, in my opinion, this is an off the tee course than a approach course. Mm-hmm. But again, like it seems like every year in the leaderboards that I look at, your top 20 is made up sort of 50-50 of bombers and, sort of like course management guys. So yeah, I guess there's no reason to get off of him for that. I sort of suspect the course to be dry and maybe favor the bombers a little bit, but that could maybe not be the case. We kind of thought that last week as the guys last week talked aggressively about bombing it around Carnoustie, and you saw that it didn't really work out as well as most of them hoped. Right. There were some opportunities to do that. And guys took advantage of them, but like if you tried to do it too much, it certainly bit them. And I wonder if this week could be a little bit of the same with as much water as around. If they get a little too much run out, find themselves maybe having to dial it back. I don't know. Like in that case, if that is the case, I think a guy like Dahman becomes infinitely more interesting as like his odds for a top 5 go way up if the course plays out like that.
Right.
On the other side of that, if the bombers, kind of hold and, you want to grab lots of eagles and stuff, Keith Mitchell is your dude.
According to Ev, he's the nuts this week. So
it's true. I'm not sure he's the nuts, but I think he makes an interesting play at $7,400 with a lot of scoring upside. Again, I'm not like, as we move down, I think there's some guys I'm just going to grab some shares of, but for the most part, I'm really going to concentrate my ownership at the top of this board and then spread it out in like a stars and scrubs approach. So I have a few more plays lower, but again, I'm not going to be super invested in any of these positions down here. I don't believe. I think they're all going to be kind of spread out evenly.
Oh man, you're missing a couple goats at 7,100.
Oh, we haven't even got that far. What do you mean? We got Tyler Duncan at 7,200, bro.
Yes, I agree. I started him.
I start him. Listen, man. If we're talking about length and scoring ability, Duncan has all that, and then mix that with what has been some really consistent cut making, especially in these mild fields this season. I think Tyler Duncan makes just a phenomenal play at 7,200. I think he's also a cash option. just again making lots of cuts, tons of scoring upside, and the ability, and it's like course fit here, I think is pretty good. So I'll have plenty of shares of Duncan. He'd probably be the guy that I get most invested in down here. Then you've got I'm a little bit interested in Poston along the same lines of Dahmen. If it gets to be a course where I think shorter hitters have have a strong possibility of posting good numbers, Poston's interesting to me, or Poston.
Yeah.
Sam Ryder, because he just keeps showing up and keeps scoring well, is worth a few shares. And then I think now we're down to your guys, so I'll let you take over.
Yeah, for what it's worth, Ryder in the most recent custom model that I built on Fantasy National is actually third.
Wow.
Which I thought was kind of interesting. So obviously I'm still tooling around with it, and that's just one model, and he didn't pop as high in a lot of other models that I've been testing out, but that definitely caught my attention. He's 7th in DraftKings points over his last 24 rounds. So there's definitely some upside there. Yeah. And obviously I'm going to be playing Sink and Cash. He's 8th in my model right now. And what are you thinking about Burgoon?
I haven't thought a whole lot about BB. I don't know. I'm not against him. I think he's just a regular golfer, although he has been statistically on fire. I don't know.
Yeah, I might have a little bit of him. I'll definitely have more Sink. I'll definitely have some Duncan, like you mentioned. Are we staying in the staying on the hot streak with Varner? Or are we out?
Like I said, I'll spread it around down here. I'll probably have a lineup with Varner in it and a lineup with Burgoon in it. Furyk is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. Again, his course history here is really good. If it's dry enough, I think he can compete here once again, because he's going to have to get roll. but Furyk seemed a bit inspired by Tiger's performance. Like watching the old guys get out there, with what's his name, Brandel Chambly qualifying and all. It's hashtag old timers are getting it done. I like Furyk might get a little taste of glory again with like a top 20 this week, top 15. But I could see some interest there. Seamus Power is interesting to me at $7,000, and Brandon Harkins. Brandon for his scoring ability, just like he can get a super hot putter and just get it going. This course isn't that difficult, and so that I don't mind a few shares of him. But Seamus Power, man, I've played a lot of Power throughout the last couple of years, and this course seems to fit in pretty well, in my opinion. Like if he catches a decent putter, I think Power could put himself into a decent position on the weekend leaderboard. And give himself a shot. He tends to wilt on the weekend, but he certainly could get it done here on a course that, like, fairways are going to be missed, so his erratic driving is not a problem, but he's long enough that he can get close with wedges and things like that and improve some of his, like erratic approaches as well. Yeah. And then, again, like that putter gets going, man, and look out. So I think you could take a few shares of Power at 7,000. Other than that, I don't know. You get there are some hot take guys down here below 7,000 that interest me as well because of how much exposure I have at the top end. What are your thoughts moving down? Do you have any interest below 7,000, or are you just like nah wave?
I mean, I probably won't really dip this low in most of my, like if I build 20 lineups, I'll probably have like at least 17 or 18 that don't even go below 7,000, just because that's how I typically build. But I think Lovelady is a little bit interesting.
It's a good thing we're not playing tennis, bro. Did you see that thing with him playing tennis? Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, I know it's the Barbasol, but a runner up, he gained strokes everywhere. Like he obviously snapped into some form after some shaky play. he was sort of steadily improving. Like if you look back through his strokes gained stuff, he's improved every event for the last 4 events in like basically every category. So maybe we can sort of catch him on the upswing.
Sure.
To be totally honest though, like I don't know. I'll probably have a lineup with Meyer in it because I like the kid. And I don't know, this Norman Zhang guy is now like bare minimum, and people are still just going to keep chasing it, right?
I still don't know much about the Panda, El Panda. I also don't know why he's called the Panda because, again, I don't know much about this kid. But hashtag sad panda, bro. The guy can't make a cut. I don't know what to say. Can't putt, can't make a cut. I don't know, man. For $400 more or $300 more, I'll just play Meyer, who is making cuts, who is playing better, and like despite his Clark Kent like undercover superhero glasses look, the dude can play golf, man. So yeah, I'm not sure that I'm going to be on Panda this week. If I want, maybe I'll take a share of him, but like I don't know.
If he misses the cut this week, I don't want to hear anybody.
Well, see, like here's the thing: the 2 places he's missed the cut. The 2 places he's missed the cut are not exactly like difficult golf tournaments, right? And this isn't exactly a difficult golf tournament. I don't know. Maybe he's taken the Justin Thomas approach to success, and he's going to win in other countries first, or like get it going in other countries first. Maybe you just need to like get his passport broken out, and have to travel and get uncomfortable or something to like make him focus. I don't know. But I don't think I'll play Dylan Meyer, who has been playing well, who did gain 5 strokes putting at the John Deere. But previously, he gained 4 strokes off the tee and 2.5 strokes or 2.1 strokes at the Quicken Loans on approach. So, and made the cut in both of those, made a cut in a U.S. Open, posted a top 20 in a U.S. Open, made the cut at a Valspar earlier this year. Now, he didn't do anything with it, but made the cut and showed improvement over his 2017 miscut at John Deere. So, yeah, I think if I'm going to be down here, I'll play the Meyer kid. I mean, if we're talking about just young, talented golfers that have opportunity, they're probably about equal to me. So I'll take the one that's playing better.
Yeah, I agree. I want to just be like firmly on the record with this because whenever he does do well, people are going to take credit for it. And you were all too early. So stop it. I just want to make that abundantly clear.
Yeah, again, I haven't really been like on the Panda bandwagon, so I don't really know tons about him. Jared Dutois is interesting. The native posted like the
native.
Well, he is. He's a native of the area, right? Look at his name. He's French, for God's sakes.
This is true.
The other guy that's got to be a native is Marc Antien Boussaris, or I can't even say it. I don't have a French accent, but that guy.
Are you loading up some Mike Weir too?
No, dude.
I can't believe Evan's not on this. Like he's the biggest Canadian like fan in the world, and he isn't even here for the Canadian Open. Really bad look for his brand.
Well, maybe his brand is slipping. I don't know. I guess like there's not a whole lot down here that excites me other than like fun names. Chris Ologo. Like, dude, say that guy's name like 6 times fast. My God. Who is this person? He has 0 stats. Oh my God, he comes up with an error when you click his name. That's how awesome that guy is. That's how awesome that guy is. You should play that guy. No, I think we're done. At least I'm done giving caffeinated takes on bad golfers.
If you maybe I could get on board with like a little bit of Steve Wheatcroft, who has some form.
He popped up in an optimal lineup for me.
Like that's it down here, right? Like there's nobody else. Like I don't know.
Hunter Mahan, 6,800, interesting.
Yeah.
Like as I like scroll back up, Chad Campbell has played really well here in the past. And he's one of those guys that like pops up on the courses he likes from time to time.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite Canadian in the field, by the way, to take down the hometown honors? You got David Hearn, Adam Hadwin, you got Jared Dutois. I'm sure there's several others. You got that Booseries guy I mentioned.
Is Corey Connors Canadian?
Yes, he is.
All right, maybe him, but there's not a lot to love here with the Canadian crowd. I don't think.
No, what about Adam Hadwin?
I mean, maybe he he did make the cut last week. Maybe he gets up for this, but I don't know. He's been pretty mediocre since like
getting married
March. So I don't know. Not my favorite.
Agreed.
I'd imagine that he's the best. Like he's the best bet for like top Canadian if there is such a thing. But
listen, I'm sure you can get odds on it. This is Canada's big week, man. They're fired up for this. So I'm sure that you can get all kinds of like fun betting, numbers and such out there this week if you live in Canada.
If you feel so inclined, then God bless, because I am probably just going to go with like 5 lineups and call it a week.
Oh, I don't know. I'm only going to enter. I entered the $44 a couple of times, so I'll probably put a few $5 out there in the big GPP, and that'll be it.
Yeah. I haven't even looked at the contest yet. Did they run that 8-iron again or no?
No.
Oh, they did. Nice.
Maybe. Don't know.
I like that. I like the 5-entry max. I feel a little bit more confident that I can like build a good core, and it almost worked last week.
It just makes you feel better about losing money incrementally.
Yeah,
is what you're really saying.
3 is too much pressure. Like 5 is perfect. Five's right in my wheelhouse.
3 is too much pressure. Minimum 33% ownership. I just can't handle it. I can't handle it.
No, can't do it.
No, I'll stick to entering. I'll stick to the $44 and try to and away from the 130.7 thousand people in the $5 as much as possible.
Yeah. All right, I think that does it. Make sure you hop in the Listener League too. That just went live a little while ago. And other than that, if you have any questions, follow along with us on Twitter. I'm at Matt Jones TFR. Jimmy's at DFS Jimmie. And good luck this week, guys. See you.
Peace.